Howdy, y'all. I think I said that before.
There's a snake in my boat.
There's a snake in my boat. Welcome to Buzz Pucks. We're here for the beginning of the second round of the playoffs, and boy, has it been a round so far.
I'm Clay.
I'm Bert, and I already told you what we were doing. So we'll start with news like we have the last couple of episodes. But before we get to that, what are we drinking, Clay?
We are drinking something by Beard.
Beard Brewing.
Mm-hmm. They're from Stonington, Connecticut.
Yeah.
It is Stunner for the win, and it's a New England style IPA.
Yes, it is.
Looks yummy. Stone cold. Stunner.
So it's actually a little cold this time for us.
It was cold last week too.
That's true. That's all right.
Yummy.
Yeah,
we got you to like IPAs eventually.
Yeah, I still probably wouldn't
tolerate.
I can tolerate them. Yeah. So, just to start off with a little bit of news, obviously Barry Trotz is still out there. He hasn't signed with the team yet. I do know that he did interview with Winnipeg specifically.
Yep.
But as we predicted, he's the bell at the ball, basically, for every team that needs a coach. Rightfully so. He's a very good coach. I think he'll just probably improve any team that he goes to, unless that team is, like, really bad.
Like the Flyers.
Yeah, like the Flyers. Well, even with Trotz,
they're not going to the playoffs.
I still don't think they will go to the playoffs. They have too many holes. But, yeah, so I know he interviewed with Winnipeg. I'm sure he has plenty of other interviews coming up. In other coaching news, Rick Bowness stepped down as Dallas's head coach.
Which a lot of Dallas fans are probably happy about.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, they did make the playoffs this year, but they didn't do super good in the playoffs.
Well, like...
They did take Calgary to 7, right?
They took Calgary to 7, and Ottinger played out of his mind, but, like, they were
my notes.
A very defensive team.
Yeah.
So... Yeah.
I spilled my beer.
You did?
I did. Keep chit-chatting for 1 second while I
grab
paper towels.
I was just popping the beer bowl that had formed over the top of it. I didn't know you spilled.
No, I spilled the beer.
So they were super defensive. So if they could find a good balance, they'd be a much stronger team next year. Heck, even Trotz would help for that.
Agreed.
Radulov is gone.
Yeah,
his contract's gone.
That's the other thing with
unfortunately,
Dallas is
the contract is
they're getting
crazy.
Getting a little long in the tooth. Dallas is
$8.5 million for Jamie Benn until 2025 with a full no move clause is not what you want.
No. And I'm sure he's not gonna waive his no move clause.
Oh God, no. Also, in teams out of the playoff, Mark Stone had successful spine surgery. So there was no cap circumvention really going through that.
Honestly, I'm kind of more mad they had him come back.
The amount of painkillers he had to be on because it was a herniated disc.
That boy was on so much Toradol.
Lower back.
Yeah.
So again, the amount of pain he was in. It's Jack Eichel.
Well, I would wager to guess he probably couldn't feel from his lower back down with the amount of painkillers that he was on.
That's the thing. The amount of painkillers they had to
certainly was not helping.
No, and Jack Eichel broke his thumb not very long into coming back, so he was playing injured the entire season. It's really fun to see who's been.
Oh yeah, once teams are out of the playoffs, they're like, this guy had surgery on a broken cranium that he had the entire season or something.
It's fun to watch that.
Like, you hear what surgeries they're getting, and you were a psychopath for playing with that injury.
I feel like there was one recently that I can't remember off the top of my head. It's just like, are you out of your mind?
Was there one guy a year or two ago who had a collapsed lung or something?
That was Bergeron. He was playing with a punctured lung.
Yeah, with a punctured lung. It's just like, oh, you could die. You don't. Why? Why do this? I mean, I get it, the competitive urge and all of that, but it's bad.
It's crazy.
You know me. I have a bad back. There's no way that if my back is bothering me, you give me shit.
Draisaitl is playing on a sprayed ankle.
That's true. Yeah.
We know this. Calgary knows it. They took some wax at him last night.
Well, we'll get to that in a second. Let's just finish off news. the one piece of signing news that came out this week is one of the probably more prominent free agents on the market, Brian Rust, re-signed with the Pittsburgh Penguins. 6 years, I believe, $5.125 million per year. That's actually fairly cheap, honestly. I think if he went to UFA, somebody was going to throw. I bet
6 to 7,
at least $7 million at him.
I saw a rumor that they offered Malkin $5 million. He said no.
I don't know how true that is.
I don't either.
Well, here's the thing: the guy that came from
is very not
in Pittsburgh. Has a track record of just kind of making shit up about the Penguins.
I saw that
because
too.
he reported that I want to say 2 hours after the Penguins got eliminated out of the playoffs.
Oh, really?
And everybody was like, "What did they do that like right after the game ended? Like, what are you talking about?"
No,
and because he was like, "Oh, they offered both Malkin and Letang 3 years, $5 million per." And apparently that made Sidney Crosby really bad. And it's just like, shut up. First of all, maybe they did, but it's called contract negotiation.
Right.
And second of all, Crosby's a professional.
Yeah.
And third of all, shut up. You can make stuff up all the time. It's just this one Pittsburgh reporter that, like, has a track record of just saying whatever.
Yeah.
And acting like it's the truth, and then every other Pittsburgh reporter or national reporter is like, I don't think that's right.
There's one reporter right now. His name's Buster Olney, and he's been
baseball.
Yeah, for baseball, and he's been ragging on the O's recently. Like,
didn't he play for the O's?
No, he.
I think it's some other player or some other reporter.
He basically made a career like sucking up to the Yankees. So he's taking the chance to hit on a rival right now. Basically, they brought up a prospect and gave him a number that a Hall of Famer has.
Yeah.
And he's just
if you guys hear chewing in the background,
it's my dog.
We're over here with Ginger. So Ginger makes her triumphant return to the podcast, chewing on a chew toy.
And he's just making a weird argument about, like, Mike Messina's number should be retired. And
what does that have to do with anything? I hate when reporters do stuff like that, or not even reporters, anybody, any fans
it's
that
like
are just like make an argument that's like has nothing to do with what you're talking about.
Everyone's just convinced that the Oriole bird slept with his wife, and that's why he's acting like this.
Well, it's that same kind of rumor. Who was it? Oh, I think it was Jeff Carter. Got ousted from Philadelphia or got in trouble with somebody somewhere for sleeping with someone else's wife.
Right.
And I don't know that that's true, but just looking at Jeff Carter, just like looking at him, he looks like the kind of guy that might do that.
Right.
Love him on the Penguins, but I think it was him. There's a couple of those stories sprinkled in.
Was it Avery?
Yeah, Sean Avery. Well,
I think
nobody likes Sean Avery. He's just kind of generally an asshole, but then he said something gross about somebody else's like wife or girlfriend.
Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking of.
I think he called them sloppy seconds because he like had hooked up with them at some point. Sean Avery's gross.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get to these series. We have a little leeway to vamp this time because we're only talking about 4 series, and then it'll be progressively less as we get to.
And each of them only had like 3 games.
Exactly 3 games.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we'll start with the West and Colorado versus St. Louis. Colorado.
This is good.
Excuse me. Yeah, this is a good back and forth series so far. Colorado took game 1 in overtime. Manson had a goal and an assist for Colorado, including that was the overtime game winner.
Yep.
Darcy Kemper made 23 saves, obviously returning from that eye injury. And Jordan Binnington made 51 saves in that game. Quite the disparity in shots.
Yes.
But good on Binnington for keeping St. Louis in the game, turning away that many shots.
Yep.
And Cogliano also returned for Colorado in this game.
That's good.
Moving on to game 2,
Girard. Is this game 2 or game 1?
When Sam Girard. Wait, you mean when he broke his sternum?
Yes.
That's game 3.
It's game 3? I thought it was game...
No, it was game 3.
Because it was the same game as the Binnington.
Yeah.
All right,
we'll get to that 1 second.
Game 2. That was game 2.
Game 2 wasn't that exciting unless you're a St. Louis Blues fan because they won 4-1.
Yep.
David Perron, staying hot, had 2 goals in this game. Binnington also staying hot at 30 of 31 saves. and Pavel Buchnevich also
Yeah.
potted 2 assists as well. Just a good, solid game for St. Louis.
And
tied the series at 1.
Which is, again, one of those things where people were just like, I don't know if anyone can stop Colorado.
No, you can. They're not perfect. They're just very high powered.
Yeah.
But if you can like tamper down that offense a little bit, like St. Louis did in Game 2 anyway, you can beat them.
Oh yeah.
It'll take a lot of effort, but they can be beaten.
Yeah.
Any team could be beaten. It's sometimes takes a lot of effort.
Though.
Yeah. Moving on to Game 3. Now this was a much more.
This one was fun.
Feisty game. I believe 45 seconds into the game or something like that. Girard, that you just mentioned, Sam Girard, got hit into the boards in what I think was a clean hit, honestly. It was a hard hit. It wasn't a board because he got hit from the side.
So the problem is...
He was just kind of low when
Girard
he got hit.
put himself in a bad position.
Yeah.
He leaned forward and reached for a puck, which put himself lower.
The guy crushed him into the boards.
His head went into the corner of the board. So he came up with a lot of blood coming from his face, like a broken nose.
Honestly, the worst part of it was apparently he broke his sternum on that hit, which is very hard to do.
Yeah, I didn't know you could do that.
I want to say your sternum is the second hardest bone in your body after your femur.
It's just in the middle of your chest.
Well, it's supposed to not be broken because it's protecting your heart. So I would think that he's done at least for this series, maybe for the playoffs.
Oh, he's done. 100%.
Because you can't mess around with stuff like near your heart.
Yeah.
Now, it could just be a hairline fracture of the sternum, but still.
He still cracked his sternum.
He still cracked his sternum, which cannot feel good to breathe with.
No.
So, yeah. But Colorado did end up winning this game 5-2. Now, maybe one of the major reasons that they won this game 5-2 is that Jordan Binnington got hurt in a collision with Nazem Kadri. Now, before anybody out there says anything, Kadri got tied up with the defenseman going for a puck.
This was completely accidental.
It was accidental. It was unfortunate. Both Kadri and the defenseman, I think it was Calle Rosen, they got tied up, kind of just fell into Binnington, pushed him into the net, and unfortunately, Jordan Binnington apparently hurt his knee.
He's done for the play.
He is at least done for this series. They said week to week, but they have to get out of this series with...
the issue is things got spicy after the game.
Oh, yeah.
And Binnington and Kadri have had... This is not the first incident this year.
No. I saw something about Binnington threw a water bottle at Kadri. I didn't really see too much of that.
So that was during the... Kadri was in a post-game interview, and you can see him get distracted during it.
Yeah.
As I think Binnington is yelling at him, and then you can kind of hear a water bottle get chucked, bouncing off the floor. So, Binnington tried to confront Kadri after the game.
It wasn't Kadri's fault.
I know, but
Kadri has a reputation. Yes, thank you. I was brain farting there for a second.
He's got a reputation, but Kadri's also...
For guys who have a reputation, I feel like Kadri isn't that bad.
No, he's not.
His hits are questionable, but they're not that bad.
He's had some two really bad. Those two against Boston were really bad.
Yeah, that's true. But wasn't he who was the player that Zdeno Chara just put into the stanchion and almost?
Pacioretty.
Was it Pacioretty?
Yeah,
okay. I couldn't remember who it was.
Well, also even one of those hits, someone got hit dirty.
That was Montreal, not Toronto. Yeah.
Right, someone got hit dirty, and then Kadri responded with his own dirty hit. It's one of those things that was an incident of refs not blowing the whistle.
It was a retaliation.
Yes.
Yeah. They always call it a retaliation.
They always do.
Whether it's justified or not. But
also, Binnington doesn't have a good history
of
making racist tweets.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was about almost 10 years ago. But Binnington was still 20.
People can change.
Yes.
People can change, but that's not great. And Nazem Kadri, if you can't tell by the name, he is a gentleman of Middle Eastern descent of some sort.
Yes.
I don't know exactly which country, but you know,
I believe he also is Muslim, so.
Is he?
I think he is.
So,
and
people aren't nice to him sometimes.
He's faced a lot of.
He's faced death threats this week too.
Yep. Yes,
I assume, stemming from this.
Very much so.
I know that the
Players Association also.
The Players Association and the St. Louis PD, the Colorado PD, are investigating it. You don't death threat people ever. Don't do that.
Sport. It's only a game. Why have
to be mad?
We're gonna say that a lot.
That goes for like most things. In case you need to hear this, you don't have to ever get this mad, unless it's like just don't do it.
It's a game.
It's a game.
But yeah, so Bennington's out for the series.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Husso played well.
Husso played okay. Laakkonen had 2 goals, Rotman had 2 assists, and Kemper made 29 of 31 saves in this game. So yeah, that's unfortunate about the whole Bennington and Sam Girard.
Yeah, the defense, St. Louis's defense.
I think after Bennington got hurt, St. Louis kind of got rattled.
Oh yeah,
and then the game just kind of got away from them.
We're gonna talk about another team getting rattled in this next series.
In this one.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's Colorado and St. Louis. There's Colorado's up 2-1. I think they play tonight.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens in Game 4, and then obviously it has to at least go to 5 games. So we'll see. Hopefully, St. Louis can use the Binnington injury as a catalyst to rally. Yeah. So moving on to the Battle of Alberta, and this has been...
It's been 30 years since this happened in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. This has been fairly spicy as well.
Oh, my God.
I was
fun.
A little worried it wasn't going to be, because, Calgary has Lucic, so... And one of the Tkachuk brothers. But Edmonton
has Cassian and
Cassian. Oh, yeah, that's true.
And Mike Smith.
So
we're going to talk about all of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Game 1 started off pretty fireworky. Calgary won 9-6 in this game. 9-6.
And overtime ended, and I switched this game, and it was already 2-0.
Yep.
A minute in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was. Oh, I was watching that too. The exact same thing happened. What game was it?
It was the Rangers.
It was the Rangers-Carolina game. And I was like, and we'll go over to here. Oh, it's 2-0 already. All right. Matt Tkachuk had 3 goals in this game.
Yes.
Hat trick. Not the only hat trick of this series. Connor McDavid had a goal and 3 assists in this game. Anderson, Mangiapane, and Goudreau each had 3 points, while Hyman and Coleman had 2 goals for their respective teams.
Based on this,
a lot of scoring in this game.
Based on this first game, it's whichever team actually figures out how to play defense is going to win the series.
Yeah. Or when one of the goalies is like, "Oh yeah, I'm a goalie."
Right. Well, did you see Matt Tkachuk's dad, Keith, refused to take his hat off and throw it onto the ice with that hat?
So funny.
Yeah. I think his brother was trying to take his dad's hat, and he was like, "No, this is my hat."
He's like, "I'll give you this hat when you have as many hat tricks as me," which is I don't know how many.
I think that was.
I mean, Keith Tkachuk was a fantastic player in his own right. He might be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure.
I think he is.
But both of his sons, he passed on the genes to them. But that's really funny. Yeah. I didn't see that. No.
Yeah.
So that was Game 1, 9-6. What a game!
And he passed that asshole gene on to them too.
Oh yeah, to both of them.
Yep. In different ways, but still yes.
Moving on to Game 2, Edmonton took this game 5-3. Leon Draisaitl and Duncan Keith each had a goal and 2 assists. McDavid had a goal and an assist, and Goudreau had 2 assists.
Go to the next game.
Okay.
And I'll just...
So that was that game.
Stuff.
There was a little bit of chip in
in
that game, too. Kane said something about Lucic in the post-game interview.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
He said every time we see him, we welcome him onto the ice or something along those lines. And you know what? The man can talk the talk and walk the walk, because Evander Kane had a hat trick in Edmonton's natural hat trick in Edmonton's 4-1 victory in Game 3.
Yep.
Connor McDavid had 3 assists to go along with that. Mike Smith had 32 of 33 saves. Mikko Koskinen also played in this game for about 5 minutes, made 0 saves on 0 shots. But
they didn't get his shot on him in this time?
No, they did not.
I know they were on... Oh, man.
Yeah, so the reason Mike Smith left for 5 or 10 minutes is because Milan Lucic actually absolutely crushed him behind the net.
I'm going to pause to that.
Okay.
He intentionally hit him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, intentionally.
Regardless, Lucic's like, I was trying to stop, blah, blah, blah. No, you weren't.
No,
dude, you ran right directly into him.
He slowed down.
He did, yeah.
If he wanted to,
could have murdered him.
If he wanted to murder him, he could have murdered him. He could have Ryan Millered him.
Yeah. He did pull back.
Which it has been 10 years since he ran Ryan Miller.
But he absolutely ran Mike Smith.
Also, Mike Smith is a diver.
Yeah, but there was no diving in that. Did you see the replays?
He's going to sell it. He is going to sell it.
He didn't need to sell that one.
He didn't need to, no.
So, thankfully, Mike Smith left the game for like 5 or 10 minutes, I think, to go get concussion protocol, but he came back in.
Because he lost his helmet during the hit.
Yeah. So they had to go and test him out. Luckily, he's fine. Came back in, won the game.
This app, don't let me, what I said.
Clay's a Lucic defender. You guys heard it here first.
This absolutely deserved to be a 5-minute major in game misconduct, which it was.
Oh, yeah.
It absolutely deserved it.
Oh, yeah.
But we could have seen a man die.
And would that have been better, is what Clay is positing. Maybe. But yeah, so he got a 5-minute game misconduct. Edmonton did not score on it because they also took a penalty somewhere in there, which took out a huge chunk of it to make it 4-on-4. Yeah,
they still had 3 minutes of power play time.
Yeah, they did. They just didn't score, which is fine. They were up 4-0 at that point.
Yes, they
and
were.
It was in the third period, I think, so the game was fairly within hand at that point. Lucic also got a game misconduct. Oh, I remember. It was with 11 minutes left in the game.
Yes,
because he got the misconduct, and they basically just threw him out of the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man, and it was funny because the scrum afterwards, there was 3 guys from each team in the box. It's just like the ref announced it's just like 5-minute major game misconduct for Lucic. Everyone else in the box, 2 minutes for roughing. Like he didn't even name the numbers. It's just like all of you,
all of those guys, all 6 of those guys roughing. Don't worry about it.
I don't want to name names. You're all in there.
It all offsets, but roughing, naughty boys. But yeah, we'll see. I haven't seen anything about Lucic getting a hearing about it.
I haven't seen anything.
They said Kadri
was not getting looked at.
I did see that. His should not.
No, not at all. Lucic
should.
Yes.
Lucic should maybe be suspended for a game.
Here's the thing. It would be more beneficial to Edmonton for him to play.
Probably. Yeah, at this point of his career, Lucic is kind of like he's there to do what he just did.
Exactly. He's been just trying, the first 2 games, he's just been trying to, get in people's head.
Yeah.
But after, in between game 1 and 2, Edmonton just turned a switch. They really have.
You got to give credit to
Calgary looks rattled.
Connor McDavid is playing out of his goddamn mind.
I don't know how he found another level.
He has 23 points in 10 games or something like that,
don't know.
which is insanity.
He turned it into another level during the series, and I didn't know he had another level.
Yeah. We just got to see if he can keep it up, especially if they can. It looks like they can make it past Calgary.
Yeah.
But then they're going to have to run into teams that I would consider better than Calgary, either one of them, depending on injuries and whatnot. Ooh, a train.
Yeah.
Especially if they face off against Colorado, because Colorado can match them.
In offense.
In offense. And I would say Colorado's better defensively.
I would agree.
And better in goaltending.
Well,
but can Colorado get past
I said the same thing about Calgary coming in, and
I would say that I think goaltending and defense, I think they are better than Edmonton, but
they are not showing it right now.
But if they get rattled like they have been, but in Game 4 they might shut them out and take control of the series. So.
But during Game 3, even after the Lucic hit, that's what I was talking about. They were chopping at Draisaitl's ankles. He took 7 good shots in a good 5-second span.
You can't. Well, that's why teams are always like, "Oh, it's a lower body injury.
Right.
Oh, it's an upper body injury." They never really specify unless the guy's going to be out for a long period of time.
But at the same time, Draisaitl speared 3 guys this season, so I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah. Isn't like a saint.
No,
so.
I don't feel bad about it. No. But it's
German man spearing people.
It's just one of those things. Just like that's why they're vague. They shouldn't have to be, but you can see why they are.
It's really crappy that they have to be vague, but I get it. Because other teams are like, oh yeah, go break his ankle, or at least hit it a couple of times to make it hurt. All right, well that's the Western Conference, and moving on to a series that I'm shocked is going the way that it's going right now.
Here's the thing. When I said my prediction for this series, I was voting with my heart, not my head.
I don't remember what I said.
I said Tampa in 6, or I said Florida in 6 or 7. Florida in 7.
We both said Florida in 7. That's the only way they're going to win.
I was definitely voting with my heart.
I thought they could do it. I thought Tampa looked pretty beat down. They looked mortal against Toronto. Toronto took them to the brink, but
these first 3 games, I think Toronto was just really good.
Yeah,
and they ran into another buzzsaw.
Yeah, so unfortunately, Florida are I guess hopeful to win the cup because they've never won a cup. Is down 3-0 to Tampa Bay in their series,
and they've looked bad.
Yeah, there's just no offense out of Florida right now. They lost game 1 4-1. Vasilevsky made 33 of 34 saves. Kucherov and Perry each had a goal and an assist. Tampa Bay played with 11 forwards and 7 defensemen, as we've seen a couple other teams do when they have one of their main defensemen isn't playing. So they play 2 to kind of like make up for it. Cernak, who is a defenseman on Tampa Bay, got hurt in the second period after blocking a shot. Marchment has missed this game. I believe that was his 3rd straight game he missed for Florida. And Point also missed this game after, if you guys remember correctly, he got hurt in Game 7 against Toronto. He tried to play through it in overtime. Right, they went to overtime in Game 7, right? He tried. He tried for like 1 shift, but he did something to his knee or something. So yeah, 4-1. Tampa Bay was 3 for 6 on the power play in that game too. So
we'll get to one of Florida's problems. At the last game.
In Game 2, much closer game. But Tampa Bay won 2-1.
Not really.
Ross Colton had the game-winning goal with 3.9 seconds left in the 3rd period. That hurts. That's a
backbreaker.
Yeah, that's a backbreaker for a series, even in Game 2. Vasilevsky saved 35 of 36 shots. Point missed this game again, and no Marchment for Florida again. And then in Game 3, Tampa Bay is totally in control. They won 5-1 in this game. Kucherov had a goal and 3 assists. Stamkos scored twice. Vasilevsky again made 34 of 35 saves. I just wrote, yikes, Florida.
Since Game 6 of the Leafs series, Vasilevsky's
he's been on fire.
He's only let in 1 goal a game. That's it. Game 7.
Yeah, that's true.
Up until now, only 1 goal a game. That Game 3 in Florida, with Florida scoring on the 1 for 3 on the power play, that's their first power play this playoffs.
Oh, you're right. It is.
It is nuts with someone who had like
crazy.
The 3rd best.
Yeah, with Barkov and Huberdeau and Giroux, who you added at the trade deadline, and not to mention Ekblad and
Reinhart, Marchment,
Marchment,
all been on fire this season.
Hornquist too. You have there. He's old, but he can still sit his fat Swedish ass in front of the net and obscure the goalie.
This is one of the things where Florida did not look good against Washington.
Yeah, no, they looked pretty mortal against Washington.
It was more Washington beating themselves than Florida beating Washington.
It's very similar to the Rangers-Penguins series too.
And Tampa.
Yeah.
Tampa's playing like a team who's won 2 straight.
They have, and they're trying for that number 3, and they're actually playing Game 4 as we're speaking right now. I just checked; it's 0-0 still.
Tampa has
that killer instinct. Yeah,
that you get from playoffs.
We said it at the exact same time. Yeah, they have that bloodlust. They just don't have that.
This was a tighter series
that
last
finisher
year.
Mentality. Yeah, but who knows? Stranger things have happened. Florida could reverse sweep them. I kind of doubt it by the way things are looking right now. But
Vasilevsky's on fire, and their top line is non-existent. Florida's top line is non-existent right now.
Here's the other thing. Speaking about Russian goalies, Sergei Bobrovsky is shockingly bad in the playoffs. For a guy that's won 2 Vezinas, he was bad when he was with Columbus.
He's not been playing bad.
He's been okay.
Series.
Yeah, he's been okay, but
their defense is just
they're leaving him out to dry. Yeah, this is one of the better playoff seasons that he's had personally. But he's just like not. He hasn't shown that he can be that guy in the playoffs. You know.
No.
So maybe tonight's the night Bobrovsky shuts him out. They switch it up. They storm back. I know they got Lundell and Thornton back for this game. Who knows if that really helps?
Put Jumbo Joe on the power play because
sure, he's good. He's still good at passing, like really good at it. So.
They've looked awful on the power play.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Florida's doing this poor.
They're 1 for 30, I think, on the power play this playoffs.
That's insanity. It's insane that they won a playoff series that way. Man, come on, Florida. All right. Moving on to our last series of the second round, Carolina versus the New York Rangers. Carolina is leading this series 2-1 currently. They won Game 1 in overtime after scoring late to tie the game. Aho scored with 2:23 left in the third period to tie that game up. And then Ian Cole, of all people, scored the game-winning goal in overtime.
Well, he banked it off Lindell.
He did, that's true, yeah.
But...
Lindgren. Hey, goal's a goal.
Goal's a goal.
Which is really funny. That's Ian Cole's second career playoff.
Yep, goal. And I believe his third goal this year.
Yeah. He's a defensive defenseman. He's not a big-time scorer. But the other goal that he scored in his career in the postseason was with the Penguins against the San Jose Sharks in the Stanley Cup Finals.
That's how you do it.
So he's a big-time performer. He gets those big-time goals, baby. Cheadle scored for, or Heedle, however you say his name.
I think it's Heedle.
Scored the only goal for the Rangers in that game. Ronta played very well.
Yep.
Very tightly contested game.
Oh man, I do have to talk about this game because
which one? Game 1?
Yeah, Game 1.
Sure.
New York Rangers up 1-0 after the second period. Dominated.
Yeah.
During that, in between intermissions, they changed their game plan
for some reason
to play prevent, and you don't deserve to win if you're playing prevent.
I never understand teams that play
for an entire period.
Yeah.
It almost worked. If Kakko buries that empty net, we don't talk about this because he had an empty net.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you play prevent for an entire period, you don't get to
That goes for any sport. I hate when any team in any sport is like, let's play prevent defense and just let them, get most of the control of the game and just try to stop them from scoring.
It allowed Carolina's offense to turn on. They just
needed a little bit. They only needed a little bit, and they got it.
They hit the post twice, and then at that point, you're
just waiting for them to score. Exactly. At that point, yeah.
You're just like, oh, it'll happen.
Yep.
Like Carolina's going to win this game.
Yeah, they did.
And if the Rangers had been playing to win to not lose, they would have won.
Yeah. Easily. All they had to do was not let in a goal for 2 minutes and 23 seconds.
And if they kept going for it, they would have gotten it.
Yeah. Or scored an empty net goal.
Yep.
That would have put the game away. But yeah, let's move on to Game 2. Carolina earned a shutout in this game.
This one they dominated.
2-0. Antti Ranta only faced 21 shots. Now, Carolina, I believe, also only had 22 shots. So not a lot of shots in this game. But
there's been very good defense.
Yeah.
For both teams.
So Ranta came up with the shutout. Shesterkin only let in the one goal. The other one was an empty net goal.
Yep.
But it was a shorthanded goal by Brendan Smith.
Yeah. Who you expect? Ian Cole and Brendan Smith.
Those are the ones you think are going to score, right?
Especially on this Carolina team.
That's how the playoffs go, man.
Aho,
and Svechnikov, and Teuvo Teravainen, guys like that. Dougie Hamilton. Isn't he on this team?
No, he is on.
Wait.
He's on the Devils.
He was on them last year.
Yes.
God, my brain.
D'Angelo replaced him.
Right. Whoa, we'll get to him in a minute. in this game, through the first 2 games of this series, Chris Kreider, Mika Zibanejad, and Artemi Panarin have been held to a collective 7 shots between those 3 top flight players.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they woke up in Game 3. So
you see, I blame myself for not realizing when they were playing, because I've been wearing.
Oh, yeah.
I've been wearing this Hartford Whalers hat.
Oh, yeah.
During.
Did you guys hear that? You hear that, Carolina fans? It's all Clay's fault.
Yeah. It's all my fault.
Clay didn't realize the game was an afternoon game yesterday.
I thought it was a 7 o'clock game, and just like, no, it already happened.
So it was really funny. Is Clay and I are giant nerds, and we play D&D together, and we do it online. And as we were starting our game last night, Clay was like, "I'm gonna put on the Rangers Carolina game, watch Carolina dominate." And
because one of another players we play with
is a Rangers fan, and me and him both were like, "That game's already over." The Rangers won,
and the Rangers fan was talking shit because they because
they
kicked ass.
Yeah, they did.
They kicked
now
ass.
the score doesn't really reflect that as much. The Rangers won 3-1. In this game, Shesterkin made 43 of 44 saves. Good game for him.
Yep.
Kreider had the game-winning goal.
It was a good one.
Yeah, it was a good one.
It was so pretty.
Zibanejad had a goal and an assist, and then the third goal, I believe, was a shorthanded goal. Or no, I'm sorry, not an empty net goal.
Yes.
That's what I meant.
Yes.
So yeah, that brings that series to 2-1 in favor of Carolina.
What you want to talk about was DeAngelo.
1 second. Something weird about Carolina in the playoffs so far. They're 6-0 at home and 0-4 on the road.
It's not that weird.
I guess it's not that weird, but like, you haven't won 1 game on the road yet.
MSG and I can't think of the name of the stadium for Boston.
TD Garden.
TD Garden are pretty much.
Yeah, they're hard places.
They are fortresses.
They're hard places.
So it is not surprising.
They're 2 of probably the louder places to play.
And PNC Park is, or not Park because that's Pittsburgh, but PNC Arena.
You can go there and dominate the Pirates any day of the week, baby.
It was 18. Yadier Molina was pitching.
They shouldn't even have a team anymore. Somebody make that fucker sell the Pirates. I'm sorry, this is not a baseball.
They got inside the park home run this past week.
Oh wow! Their GM was like, they're getting better. I'm like, you just lost 18-4. Shut up.
And
they just let Yadier Molina pitch for fun.
And those 4
you should get relegated.
Those 4 runs were against Yadier Molina. They should have made Wainwright
catch.
Yeah.
That would have been pretty funny. We're up by 18. Put out Yadi and Wainwright, but make them switch positions.
All right. PNC Arena.
Yeah,
because that's where Carolina plays. Yeah. That is also a fortress for Carolina. So
bunch of jerks live there.
Yeah, a bunch of jerks. So they are. The last 2 series that Carolina's been in has been at like fortresses.
Yeah, they're facing some pretty hard away arenas.
Because the people at MSG are just monsters.
Goddamn New Yorkers.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to talk about DeAngelo at the end of this game.
Max Domi pulled some.
Was it Max Domi? I couldn't tell who it was.
It was Max Domi with the cheap shot.
Yeah, he slashed Lindgren, I believe, in the legs or something.
I believe it was a slash and a cross shot.
Yeah.
It was Lindgren.
Because
he's been hurt.
Lindgren retaliated and threw Domi to the ice, and there was a scrum between whoever was on the ice at that point.
100%.
And then I don't know what Tony DeAngelo said to Gerard Gallant.
He was just chirping at the bench.
Yeah, but then Gallant was like...
Everyone told him to shut the hell up.
Yeah. It's so funny that it was Tony DeAngelo talking to his former team.
Yeah.
They should have been like, we'll send Georgiev out there to punch you again.
Right in the face.
Yeah. It's just like, really, shut up. You've been pretty much a good boy all year. DeAngelo, you haven't said anything gross. You've seemingly been a better person on your new team. Just shut up and put your head down. Let Ian Cole do it.
Yeah,
because he's been in the league for a while. Tony DeAngelo is still fairly young. He's 23 or 24 or something like that.
He's 26.
Maybe, but he's only been in the league for 3 years tops.
Agreed.
Let one of the veteran guys chirp at the bench and have
100%.
Gerard Gallant. If it was me, I'd be like, hey Gallant, how come you've gotten fired in for weird reasons in every coach, every place that you've been? Why are you gonna get fired for a weird reason after this season from the Rangers for like seemingly no reason? Yeah, just like Vegas and just like Florida.
Yeah, that's what that's what you chirp him. But
just like really weird, like very specific things like that.
D'Angelo bullied the one black player on New York,
and look what happened. That player is way better than Tony DeAngelo. So I'd kill to have Keandre Miller on the Penguins.
DeAngelo is having a career year, but
he had a good bounce back year after.
Miller's floor is so much higher.
Miller's ceiling?
No, Miller's
that's
floor.
True. Yeah. He's just generally a better player. I'm going to go ahead and guess a better person than Tony DeAngelo as well. Yep. So it's been a while since we ragged on Tony DeAngelo, so
he's been good. That's what we've been
saying. He's been a good boy this year. Well, I don't know about personally, but
he's stayed out
in the
news.
Public, he has been a good boy. So
I would fucking love Keandre Miller.
Yeah, hey, Rangers.
He's so good.
Rangers, I'll trade you Chad Ruedel and a 4th round draft pick for Keandre Miller. Who says no?
Don't do that to Chad Ruedel. He just takes team-friendly deals.
No, I like Chad Ruedel a lot. I was just thinking of like probably the most obscure defenseman on the Penguins.
Chris Kunitz.
I'll trade you Chris Kunitz, who's been retired for 2 years and not on the Penguins before that.
Was he on the Lightning?
Yeah.
I think he
was somewhere weird.
Lightning.
Maybe. I'm not sure. He might have retired the year before they won the Cup.
Yeah, he may have been on the 19.
I know that he was on the Penguins for both of the Cups in 16 and 17.
I hate him.
And then I think he left after 17.
Yeah.
And that's when the Blues won, and then Tampa Bay both years after that. I don't know. He might have.
I still hate him.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I love him.
I understand. All right.
What about Bonino? Do you like him too?
That Amish motherfucker.
All right. Well, we'll wrap this up here. A little bit of a short one, so they'll probably be on the shorter end, especially if there's not really too much news to talk about. But we get to go on tangents more.
Yeah.
Now, shit on Tony DeAngelo for various reasons. But yeah, we'll be back.
Lemieux sucks too.
Hey, that better be Brendan Lemieux you're talking about.
Of course.
Because Mario Lemieux's a goddamn saint.
Yeah, he's Claude's son.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Not related to Mario.
Look at you, Kings. All right.
Yeah, we'll be back
next week.
Next week for the second week of the second round.
It'll probably be over at that point.
Oh, probably. Yeah, maybe. I don't know what the schedule. They didn't start. Yeah, unless one or two of these series goes to 7, they'll probably be done.
We'll be back when the round is over.
Do you just want to say that?
Yeah, let's do that.
You just want to break it up like one episode, like,
yeah.
And then all right, yeah, we can do that.
Workshop it.
Yeah, why
not? Do it live.
We'll do it live. So we'll see you guys next week. Probably at some point next week.
Yep.
For when the second round ends, and it'll certainly be the same puck channel, but maybe not the same puck time.
It'll be the same puck place.
It'll be the same puck place though.
Yeah.
See you guys then. Oh, follow us on Twitter at BuzzPucks, because nobody follows us. And find us wherever podcasts are found, and give us a like, comment, and subscribe.
Yep.
Okay. Love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.